For me, that doing that changed my life.
That's how I connect right now.
During the last 5 years, my life has changed dramatically. All right, welcome everyone to the Essence Talks podcast, where we explore the connection of the essence, the mind, heart, and the body. We are your hosts today, Weronika, Jasmine, and Janice. And today we're going to ask important question in how can the essence practice help with overall health? We're going to explain a bit more about each of those concepts and hopefully get a bit deeper into the matter. So, as an introduction, when we think of the health, most of us picture the physical body, correct? The eating well, moving, sleeping enough. But what about the whole inner world? How does the inner essence and health correspond together? The question is, can practices like meditation, yoga, and walking and journaling, can they also bring more awareness support into your body and therefore include overall health? That's where we'll be going to diving into today, the connection between the essence and those practices of well-being. And I'm coming up with the first question. Yasmin, can you explain to me when you hear the word health? What comes to your mind first? Is it the body, the mind, something else?
Well, I would say the mind because I was affected in my health, my mental health, many years. I got into a big depression, and so without that, I wouldn't have the health. So I would have to say that the mind is very important and being healthy. Then I work with everything else around it, and including the body to have an optimal health. But yeah, I would go with the mind.
All right. And for you, Janice?
To me, it will be the body. Even I love understanding the mind. To me, what I just like go first is the body. I move and I try to do exercises and I try to fast. So to do fasting. So to me, it will be the body.
I have to agree with you here. For me, it's the same, absolutely the body, because it's so hard to move in deeper into your mind and before your body feels okay to some level. And then, yeah, taking care of the body, I feel like it can make your mental stage better as well. And that brings me to the next question. What do you ladies think? Can the health exist without balance in those three different points?
I would go with first. What level of health are we talking about? Optimal health? Yes, it has to be balanced. But many people don't have the opportunity to have all three in balance. And how are they considered unhealthy? Or are we talking about how do we accept our health, physical or mental, emotional, in our daily life? How do we deal with it? So for me, it depends on what kind of level of health we're talking about.
Yeah, in here in the UK, people tend to look after themselves, but what they go first is just to exercise to the gym and so on, and then they try to they will go to therapy or to do some sort of introspection when they really burn out or really stressed. But yes, they look healthy, but they always tend to seek that balance in all of these three. See, unconsciously, we're doing this unconsciously, but yeah, you could be healthy within your body, but we tend always to have this balance doing therapy and doing introspection and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned the word burnout, because it's becoming more and more popular, or often that we see this along people. It's like one of those modern age diseases that you get burned out. And I personally know a couple of my friends who has gone through this. And the burnout, it kind of starts with the mind, right? But then it spreads. Your mind gets tired, you stop being able to learn new things, and then it moves down to the heart. You stop feeling the happiness, you stop feeling the joy, eventually detaching yourself from the emotions and the joy, finally getting down to your body when you have stomach aches from the stress, and when you feel your heartbeat is increasing, you have ulcers, and just the energy is really going down in the body. So, yeah, what kind of practices can we be doing to avoid all that? Yeah. So do you have any practices that you do on every day that you can call the essence practices in a way? Would you like to start, Yasmin?
As I mentioned earlier, the reason I got depressed was because I was working in the health sector, and one of the patients attacked me. I almost lost my life, and I got in this total black hole where nothing was important, absolute nothing was important, and my body hurt. Even brushing my hair was hurtful. And the way I started, and that was my point of no return, because I couldn't get worse. I didn't have I didn't see any point in living anymore. And I remember I got in contact with my teacher, and he asked me to meditate. I didn't know what meditation was. I thought meditation was guidance or listening to something. And the first was breathing, just going into the breathing and being in the breathing, connecting. And then after a while, I went up to listening to my heart. And that was the only meditation. So we're doing for 5 minutes a day, or several 5 minutes if I had the opportunity. And for me, that doing that changed my life, because 3 months later, I could hear the birds, I could hear the children sing, and I started waking up from that. I started, in a way, climbing up of that hole, black hole I was in. And that for me is the number one thing, meditation.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. In my case, because everything was happening within my mind, when I was a teenager, and to stop your mind and you don't even know where to start, I intuitively seek help. So I went and I started doing yoga when I was 17. And that is when I realized this is a way to stop your mind through breathing, through just to put attention in while you breathe, right? But then that was when I was 17. And when we are talking about connected to essence right now, and now I see connection with essence in every day, like when I do gardening, or when I go to the park and walk, or when even I run. I love that when I'm running. And even when I look at my child, that is connection. Not in letting not letting these thoughts interfere in your connection with the present moment. Yeah, that's how I connect right now.
Yeah, well, thank you. I had a lot of different things I wanted to talk about, so I will try to put it down to a few times during the last. I will try to put it down to a few minutes. During the last 5 years, my life has changed dramatically. So let's put it like this. when I was studying and I was writing down my master thesis, I have experienced one of the worst, well, I shouldn't call it burnout because it wasn't. It was just stress related to the whole writing of the thesis. I picked a topic that didn't have base in the literature. I had to put myself into action. I was reading about this modern way of making essential oils or marine oils from some animals in the sea, and there was no data, and it was so stressful, and there was nothing that could help me back then. Because I didn't have the breathing, I didn't have the meditation, I didn't have journaling. In a way, when I come back to it, it was 2019. I'm telling you, it's just a few years ago, and I feel like I'm a completely different person. That almost ruined my relationship with my partner. Disconnected me so much from my friends, my family, and I feel like that was my bottom, because after that, I couldn't do anything when I was writing the thesis. That's fine. Finished the thesis, and then time came to rebuild all the things. And the first thing I did was nature, because I grew up in Poland, a lot of forests, a lot of lakes in the place I grew up. And every time in the summer, my parents would bring me to the lake. They would make me swim or just look at the water, or maybe just go to the forest. So that was my first thing. And it felt so stupid, you know? I was going alone. It's going to sound strange, but I felt like such a loser going alone to the forest or to the park. And I thought to myself, I don't have any friends. I didn't like myself going alone. I'm telling you. And I still sometimes now have those thoughts like, okay, not really, but I go to the park alone because now I love it. Honestly, it feels better to go alone than with someone who talks a lot. And that was my bottom when I hit that place. And then slowly but surely from there onwards, I was looking for a job. And then I was unemployed for many months. And I can't believe that I didn't seek help. I was so stubborn and so convinced I can do it by myself. And I was, going out with my friends, drinking beer, just trying to anyhow somehow connect to myself, but everything but being alone. I'm telling you, now that I look at it, it was very stupid and reckless. And I know there's a lot of people doing that. They're just not asking for help. They think they're fine, and they didn't. So it all changed for me when one of my friends brought me out, and she said, "We're signing up for a CrossFit." And I thought, my body is so weak, I cannot ever do CrossFit. I cannot do a lift. I cannot run without pain in my knees. Did I mention I've been having terrible pains my whole life for no reason? Anyways, then I start my physical journey, and then I start feeling mobility. And in mobility, it's like we were sitting down on the floor, stretching the knee, and I've always been moving, you know? I just forgot it because of the studies. I forgot the movement was my connection. I lost the connection to my essence. Like my whole teenage years, I've been always moving, doing martial arts. I was in the swimming primary school. I was swimming, you know. Some of my colleagues are now, some of my friends from primary school are now high score swimmers. And I was doing that, but I forgot. I forgot my essence from who I was as a child. And this friend of mine who brought me out, and she started this again. And, you know, that was the help I didn't ask for. That was the help I needed. And from there onwards, I discovered I don't want to apply for the jobs. I don't want to follow my education. I want to focus on movement. And then I became yoga teacher, 5 years been going on. And yeah, so every time I forget to do things for myself with movement, I now remember, okay, I have to sit down and move for myself. So for me, it's always been the movement that I've been connecting to my essence. And then from there came the heart and mind. So I guess that's long story short, I can tell you that. But yeah, enough about me. Jasmine, I would like to ask you if you could share a story of a simple practice that you could remember made a real difference in your well-being.
Well, I mentioned earlier about the meditation for some minutes, and later on, bathing, going in contact with nature, bathing for just the fun of bathing. And I remember when I came to Norway, and I said, I will never bathe in Norway. It's so cold. I was used to South America with 26 degrees in the water. And then here in a warm summer day, maybe you have 22. But usually it's about 17, 16. For me, that was very cold. But when I started getting in contact with that bathing, for just being in there and feeling the subtle of the water supporting me and in connection with nature, it made a huge difference. I started to begin was just bathing, uh, like why am I doing this? Because it will activate my parasympathetic nerve system, and I will feel more relaxed. But then I started feeling like I was clean, like I was really clean. It was like fresh. It was new. I felt newborn. So I started doing this often and often, and I've been doing this for several years now. And if I don't do it, I feel like I'm not complete in a way. So for me, it's a practice that I would recommend, even though might feel cold. But I started preparing myself in the shower, putting the shower colder and colder and colder, in order to prepare to go in bathe. And started bathing in summer. But for me, that connection to nature, it's undescribable. It's just amazing.
Getting a little bit of a shock with the cold water. Spoke with the
Yeah, but it's just when I started because I wanted to since my accident, I have a four diagnosis in me that makes it I'm going in stress situations all the time. I am like in alarm all the time, and the water would help me to bring that down, would activate the vagus nerve, that is the nerve going on in our back and all the way to the and is the nerve that commands the parasympathetic system, that we see the relaxed part of our nerve system to activate. So I started doing because it was healthy, because it was recommended to do to activate that, and for me now it's part of my well-being. It's part of but to begin with, like I said, it's just I had to do it, but now I love to do it.
And what do you love, Jens?
It's
What
funny
do-
because you say in bathing, and I have done this, but I didn't know the science behind that, but I've done it for when I was very young, like after my shower, just finished with cold shower. But in my case, it's very simple, but it's very powerful. The practice of listening is really simple, but it's very powerful. And I really connect to the essence, but not just mine, to the essence of people, through a conversation. And I love that, because people, when they are putting out there this mask and starting to be themselves, and that's when I see their faces, and I sense their energy that is coming out, and I listen to the real them. That's I just love it, because it's my job to coach, and through the practicing of really listen to the person, what is inside of them, is very simple, but it's very powerful.
How do you recommend doing that for a person who's going through a burnout? Where should they start?
Okay. They should start from themselves to really paying attention of what is causing that, you know. They don't really need to focus on people. They really need to go to a real introspection. And if you are really stressed, and I believe me, I understand it. I live in London. Um, you should start for yourself, because you need to prioritize how you feel in the moment. You cannot help others if you are not at ease with yourself. It is essential and it's fundamental that you start for your own self,
Thank you.
Okay.
But Yasmine, if someone says, I don't have time for anything spiritual right now, any practice, I don't have time to connect to my essence, how would you convince that person to do the first step? They're feeling stressed, they don't have time, they're tired. Where to start?
Well, if somebody tells me I don't have time, the first thing I will ask them is, but would you like to? Because if there's no point of telling somebody how to start or what to do if they don't want to. But if they say, yes, I don't have time, and yes, I would like to, then I would say, okay, when you're at work and you have 2 minutes to go to the toilet. And many people do, they go to the toilet. And I say, well, in those 2 minutes, could you concentrate on listening to your heart or your breathing? And that's a place they can start if they don't have time. But everybody has time to in the evenings before they go to bed. 2 minutes before you going to bed, you go to bed, you lay down in your bed, and then you start breathing. And or looking at it's a practice called chill out, that where you just look at the roof and you just look at the roof. You don't do anything, and you can do that for 2 minutes. That's a way to start.
If you ask me,
That space.
I would say it would be so many people use their phones now, right? We all scroll, maybe not everyone, but I do. And sometimes I feel like, I just need this 15 minutes. Sometimes I set a timer, half an hour scrolling, searching for inspiration for anything, a little bit of pleasure, guilty pleasure. And then I changed the way I do it. I don't do it on the sofa anymore. I put down my yoga mat on the floor and I lie down on the floor, on the hard floor. Sometimes I lie in the Sphinx pose, like, hands down, chest, belly on the floor, chest up, and I scroll. Or maybe I watch an episode, but I do stretching while looking at my phone. And I think that's such a great way to start, because eventually you get bored with the phone and your body is like an anchor, and it kind of is like, woohoo, look at my hip. And the hip is like pulling your attention down here. That's why I like the body so much, because it can bring your attention in. And then I always end up with a meditation, just lying down and, relaxing my body and then emptying my mind. And it's worked like that for me. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I wonder if you could give a daily essence tip for health. I know we've already done it, but Janice, do you have anything to add? A daily essence tip for health, for your mental health, body health, heart health, pick your favorite.
To recommend, I always recommend fasting. You don't have to go with like me. I'm very extreme. But maybe start intermittent fasting, just because is science behind this. If you just keep on eating and you're making your digestion system working all the time, you're not letting the other cells to work. And to me, to have some clarity in my mind, I need to fast, and to me, it's a must. That's what it works for me.
All right.
Is this is okay or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we
Because
want to add something else?
I can say running, but if it's
No, but not everyone has health for running.
okay,
Right?
okay.
No, wait. But do we? I was wondering. I'm going to finish now. Is that, do we want to add something more? Do we have any more questions?
Something.
Sorry.
I would like to add something.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, do we have more questions or?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you. Fasting. Again, we could make episodes and episodes on that, about that one. But yeah, Yasmin, do you want to add something?
Yes, I would like to say grounding. It's I love to search for information about um, the things that scientific proven, and grounding, like walking without shoes. It's very good because it attracts ions from the earth that helps our body detox. So, and it's very easy. You just take your shoes and walk in the garden for a couple of minutes, and that's it. If you can do that every day, then that would also help your body not only to detox, but you will get in connection with nature. And there's two things doing by 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, the nature connection. I think that's the easiest one probably. Take a break outside. Don't take the bus stop from the closest. Don't take the bus from the closest bus stop. Take this 5 minutes walk and take the bus from the next station. I think sometimes that really helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Or what you were saying, Janice, you were saying that you're sometimes just going out to a garden in the middle of a city, finding a place that's more green, and then feeling like, "Ooh," like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, that happened to me actually. The ones who live in London, and Valentino took me to the roof of a building in just right in the middle of the city, London City. It's just it's all banking and banks and everywhere. But then I thought, where are you taking me? And then that's when I saw a beautiful. I never seen this, and there's a lot of gardens like that, indoor gardens in the UK, and it took like it reconnect me immediately, and I felt so calm, because there is real nature, but inside a building in the middle of a huge city, So
wow,
yeah, things like that you can
wow,
make.
yeah. The last thing that I just thought of is, this self-affirmations when you say things to yourself in the head. Yeah, I think that sometimes when your mind is spinning, sometimes it's enough to just say something outrageous like, I like myself. What? I like myself? Or like, I feel fine. Oh, I feel fine. And then I feel like the thinking changes. I am fine. Actually, I am fine. Yeah, this is just temporary. Sometimes I think that also helps. But yes, thank you very much for staying with us on this episode. Thank you for being with the Essence Talks podcast. Next time on the schedule, we're going to talk about the generational voices. Ooh, we're going to go into a little bit deeper into what we learned from our parents, both the good and the bad things, and how to approach that whole big basket.
I'm excited.
Yes. Thank you very much, Yasmin. Thank you very much, Janice.
Thank you very much.
Weronika, speaking to you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye.
Bye.